Okay. Consider the following. Okay, we have these piecewise functions. We want to be able to graph them. Then we want to be able to answer questions regarding their limits. Okay. You should be able to look at this piecewise function and know what they all look like. So you don't have to write this down right now, but the graph of 3 looks like that, graph of 1 looks like that, and x squared plus 2 looks like that. Do those all come to your mind? Hopefully they should. So we don't want to graph all of that. We just want to graph part of it. Okay? So what I showed you last year was to plug in the x value to find the endpoint. So when you plug in -1, you generate a value of 3. Open or close circle, open circle, and we just sketched the graph so we know what it looks like. Again, it says we're drawing for x values less than -1, so we're drawing to the left. If you look at the next one, if I plug in -1 to 1, what do I get? 1. Well, this isn't a greater than or equal to thing, or less than. It's just equal to. So what does that mean? Yeah. And the last one, you plug in -1 and you get 3. Let's back up to that same spot. Remember, it looks like a parabola. Open circle. And it's going to dip down to +2 because it's x squared plus 2. Everybody okay with generating the graph? Okay, so I understand the first time we looked at, piecewise functions last year, they're complicated, but hopefully you're getting in the hand of it now. All right, so we answered questions. Limit as x goes to -1 from the left. 3. From the right? Does the limit exist at -1? What is f of -1? So notice the actual function value at that point does not have to be what the limit is. How about the limit as x goes to 0 from the left? From the right? Does the limit exist as a whole? And f of 0? 2. So you can see the difference between these two situations, and as you look at the graph, as you approach 1, you can see why the function value is different than the limit. And here, as x approaches 0, you can see why the function value is the limit. Okay? Question? So we're going -1 from the left. So if we made a set of values, we'd be looking at what the trend is. So -2, it's at 3. -1.5, it's at 3. -1.1, it's at 3. -1.01, it's at 3. -1.0001, it's at 3. So the trend is 3. Now, true, when you jump down to -1, you get a value of 1. But that's not the trend. You're looking at the trend. Better? Okay. Okay, consider the following piecewise function. We'll look at this one. E to the x. Do you remember what that looks like? Don't draw it all yet because we're going to erase it. I'm just trying to give you an idea what these look like. 1 minus x squared, right? Graph of 2, and the graph of log of x. That's similar to e to the x. Instead of going through 0, 1, it goes through 1, 0. And it says -1, so it's shifted then down 1 unit, so it goes through that point there. So these are my graphs. Okay, so let's kind of back up and piece these together. You do the x for x less than 0. I plug in 0 and you get? Yep, 1, because anything to 0 power is 1. Open or close circle. Do you remember why anything to 0 power is 1? I showed you this last year. X to the 5th divided by x to the 5th is x to the 0, right? And then divide by itself is 1. Okay, there you go. All right. Okay, 1 minus x squared. I've got a couple of values. I plug in 0. What do you get? 1. Open or close circle. Now I plug in 1, and you get 0. Open or close circle. So there's my little parabola portion. Next one, I plug in 1, and you get 2. Close circle, it's just a dot. And then I have -1 plus log x. I plug in 1, and I get, what's the log of 1? Do you remember the base of a logarithm? This base is 10, so that means 10 to what power is 1? 10 to the 0 power. So that's 0, and then -1 would be -1. So 1, -1. Open or close circle? Open. And it will head off like that from there. We don't have the back side of it. So there's my piecewise function. Let's now determine the limits. Limit is x goes to 0 from the left. From the right. One from the left. From the right. The limit. Y. Right and left are different. Okay. And f of 1. 2. Can you tell me why you chose 0? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I don't, Calvin, I don't think what you said was dumb. I'm just saying that when I looked at it, I'm just trying to think through my mind. Why would you say 0? Because if I didn't have, like, for example, if one of these were open and the other one wasn't, then I would understand. Well, it's like you got both of them, so it's like that should like send an indicator. Oh, well, you know, but you did not draw an open circle in your notes. Got it. Thank you for sharing. All right, so here's what you have to do. I'll hand out your study guide as well as your homework cover sheet, just 4 prompts from your book. Again, this information should be posted online. Make sure you use your calculator for number 47. That's it. What happened?